Ever look at a tiger and think, man, what's going on behind those stripes? Well, today, we're going to find out. We're diving deep into the secret lives of tigers in the wild.
It really is incredible, how an animal so recognizable, that orange and black, can still be so mysterious.
I know, right? You see them in zoos, documentaries, even on cereal boxes. But this book gets into the real nitty-gritty of their lives. And honestly, one of the most surprising things, tigers. Strong, solitary, sure, but simple, not so much.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. We hear solitary hunter, and I don't know about you, but I picture like a lone wolf always on the prowl. But tigers, they're more like meticulous landlords. They've got these huge territories, some over 150 square kilometers.
Wait, 150 square kilometers?
Yep. Think about it. That's like, what, 30,000 football fields? Just imagine trying to patrol that and make sure everyone knows who's boss.
Okay, that's a lot of ground to cover. How do they even keep track of all that? Are they like leaving scent trails or something?
Scent trails? Yeah, kinda. They use scent marking. It's this whole mix of urine and special chemicals that basically act like their own personal perfume. And it tells other tigers, back off. This is my turf. And get this, they can pick up on these scents from miles away.
Wow, it's like a whole chemical conversation we're not even invited to. I'm guessing it's not all like scent-based strategy meetings. This is a predator we're talking about here. How does all this territory stuff play into how they hunt?
That's where it gets really cool. See, being a successful tiger isn't just about being strong. It's about patience, strategy. Picture this. A tiger spots prey, right? But it's way bigger than them. They got to be smart.
So it's not just a mad dash and
No,
chunk.
no, no. The book talked about how they use the element of surprise. They'll even use water to their advantage.
Wait, what? Like they stop for a quick swim to cool off mid-hunt?
Not quite. I mean, they've actually been seen swimming across rivers to, like, sneak up on prey.
Seriously, a swimming tiger. Okay, no, that's a visual I wasn't expecting.
Right. Really changes the whole lounging in the jungle image.
Speaking of jungles, I bet everyone listening pictured a jungle when we started talking tigers, but the secret lives of tigers. It talks about how they're actually adaptable to all kinds of
Oh,
habitats.
absolutely. They don't just stick to the jungle. We're talking grasslands of India, even those chilly forests in Russia. Tigers figure it out.
Hold, hold on. How can something that seems so, I don't know, synonymous with steamy jungles handle those freezing Russian forests? That's like a completely different playbook, isn't it?
You're right. It is different. Take the Siberian tiger, for instance. Biggest of all the tiger subspecies. They've adapted to survive brutal winters, thick fur, layer fat for warmth. They've even been known to hunt things as big as moose.
Moose. Okay, I would not want to run into one of those in a dark forest or a braid jungle or anywhere, really. But seriously, that adaptability is amazing. Shows how resilient they are.
And yet, as resilient as they are, tiger populations are facing some very real dangers. And that's a big part of what the secret lives of tigers really wants to drive home.
It's kind of hard to hear, these incredible creatures struggling to survive. So, what are we talking about here? What are the biggest things threatening them?
Well, some of it is probably no surprise. Habitat loss, poaching, mostly because of, well, us.
Habitat loss, yeah, that's happening everywhere. We're always building, expanding. But poaching, why are tigers such a big target for that?
It's all about the black market, unfortunately. Tiger parts are in high demand. Skin, bones, you name it. Seen as valuable for fashion, some traditional medicines, even just a status symbol. The secret lives of tigers actually really gets into the whole ugly side of that trade.
Ugh, it's just, I don't know, depressing. Like we share this planet and we're actively making things worse for them. So, is there any good news? The book mentions conservation, like what's being done to help.
There is some good news, actually. Some amazing people out there working really hard to save tigers. One of the biggest successes has been this thing, Project Tiger, in India. Things were really bad back in the 70s, and they created all these tiger reserves. They're like protected areas, specifically to give tigers space and what they need to, thrive.
So they're trying to like give back some of that lost habitat.
Yeah, exactly. And it's more than just fencing off some land and saying, okay, you're good, tigers. They actually got local communities involved, too.
Which makes sense, right? You can't expect people to care about tigers if they're worried about feeding their families.
Right. Project Tiger is really big on making sure conservation helps everybody. So they educate people about why tigers matter, how protecting them can actually help their community in the long run.
So it's not just about like saving one animal, it's about making a better future for both tigers and the people who live near them.
Totally. And it's working. India's tiger population has actually gone up lately. Proof that this stuff, especially when you get the community on board, it can make a real difference.
That's amazing to hear. It gives you some hope, right? Like, there's still bad stuff happening, but people are fighting for these animals, and sometimes they win those fights. But I'm curious, why should people, even if they don't live near tigers, care about saving them?
That is a question. The secret lives of tigers really wants you to think about. It comes down to this. Tigers are beautiful, yeah, but they're also what we call apex predators
Yeah.
at the very top of the food chain. And that means they've got a really important job.
Important. How so?
Think of it like a big balancing act. Tigers keep those herbivore populations in check, right? No tigers, those populations explode. Too much grazing. And that messes with the whole ecosystem. We're talking soil erosion, less habitat for other animals, even problems with water.
So no tigers could actually set off this whole chain reaction, and not in a good way.
Exactly. This isn't just about saving one animal. It's about saving whole ecosystems,
Yeah.
keeping that balance. And remember how we were talking about tigers adapting to all these different places?
Mm.
That's part of what makes them so
And
important.
more different kinds of plants and animals you have, the stronger the ecosystem, right?
Yes. And tigers, they're crucial to keeping that mix going strong.
You know, this actually reminds me of something else the book got into, how tied into human culture tigers are.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, people have been fascinated by tigers forever.
Right. Art, folklore, myths, they pop up everywhere. It's more than just, an animal in the jungle.
Definitely. It's the deeper connection, right? Not just something we watch, but something we, I don't know, draw inspiration from, tell stories about. They're really woven into what it means to be human.
Makes you think, doesn't it,
Yeah.
about, our place in all this.
Yeah.
We get so caught up in our own thing, we forget how connected it all really is.
Mm-hmm.
And tigers, with those stripes, those roars, they're like, I don't know, a symbol of that whole web of life.
They really are.
Mm.
And the secret lives of tigers, it really lays out our part in that, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
We talked about the threats, the habitat loss, the poaching, but it also makes it clear we're not powerless to change things.
That's what I was going to say. There's hope in that, right? Knowing we can actually do something.
Absolutely. Remember when we were talking about poaching
Yeah.
and how it all comes down to demand?
Yeah.
Well, what if we, as in all of us consumers, what if we made different choices?
You're talking about being more careful about where the stuff we buy comes from.
Exactly. Making sure we're not supporting those industries that are hurting tigers, their habitats, everything.
Every dollar we spend is like a vote, right?
That's it. Buying sustainable stuff,
Yeah.
supporting those organizations, fighting the good fight, even just talking to people about this. It all matters.
It's like that whole think globally, act locally thing. You might feel small, right? But every little thing we do has a ripple effect.
And all those ripples, they can turn into waves. This
Mhm.
book, it reminds us we're not just watching this happen. We can change the ending.
So I guess as we wrap up here, it's pretty clear. The future for these amazing animals, it's kind of uncertain,
Yeah,
but it's not hopeless.
not at all. There are so many people who care. This passion for conservation, it gives me hope. And if we all keep working at it together with maybe a little bit of that, tiger tenacity,
Yeah.
we can make sure these animals are still around for, well, forever.
I love that. It's a good note to end on. This whole deep dive into the secret lives of tigers has been, well, amazing. We learned some crazy stuff, heard some hard truths. But in the end, I think it makes you want to do better. Be better.
For sure. Be better. Have hope. And never lose that sense of wonder, right? I mean, come on. Who doesn't love a good tiger story?
You got that right. So until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and let's keep that curiosity alive.